Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. Sorry that I was delayed. I was like, why is my microphone not coming on? And sometimes you got to change batteries, right? Sometimes, we make mistakes like that still. Let me say hello to a few people who are saying hello to me. There's Paul, who is joining us from Texas. How's it going, Paul? Susanna is joining us from Delaware. Joan is joining us from Bakersfield, California. So, as you make your way into the room, what we always love to do is to find out who you are and where you're joining us from. So, if you would, let us know that you are here. Do us also another huge favor: like this post and share it on YouTube and on Facebook. That just tells both of them that we're doing a good job and that we have helpful content that's out there. And apparently, we're having a little trouble getting an email out tonight. You know, technology is amazing when it works, but sometimes it doesn't work that great, and so you have to give it a little bit of a nudge or whatever. Let me say hello to a few more people. Shania is joining us from Utah. Welcome. Anybody else that would like to say hello before we jump in? Tonight's going to be really, really great inspirational information as an intro to this, and we're going to spend a couple of weeks on this particular topic. But I'd still like to say hello to a couple of you as you're making it into the room. Make sure that you do this for us. Tell us where you're joining us from, maybe what you're excited about, what you feel life and momentum on, and also do us a huge favor, like this post in Facebook, share it or like it inside of YouTube. And both of those platforms, it does us a huge favor because it tells them that we're doing a good job and that the content's good, right? We always try to help you as much as we possibly can. There's Bobby. Mr. Teachings, glad to be back on here from Atascadero. Welcome. I was in Atascadero this weekend, Bobby. I had a dinner and then it was like a quick trip, dinner, and then I headed back home afterwards, kind of late. Awesome. Hey, and there's Melissa joining us from Florida. Very cool. So tonight is probably going to be one of our shorter Mentor Mondays because tonight is all about intro and it's about inspiring some of you, especially on this topic of online courses. Now, I know some of you're probably over there thinking like, well, I could never do an online course. And you might be thinking that, or you might be thinking, isn't everybody doing online courses? And then some of you might be thinking, isn't online courses just some kind of a fad that's going away? Well, I'm going to try to address all of these things, some of your biggest questions, and I want to inspire you to at least give this a thought, if not actually following through and doing it. And the reason why I want to encourage you to follow through and do it, because I believe it's going to benefit your business in a lot of different ways. Not only directly financially from the people who buy whatever you put together as a product that's going to be shared through the means of an online course, but it's also going to feed other areas of your business, and it's going to allow you to build rapport faster and all of those other things. And I'm going to show you how it actually does it. I'm going to show you how coaches do it, and I'm also going to show you really how a lot of things are built out these days to make it really easy for you to do it. Let me say hello to Barbara. Hello, Barbara. Sandy's joining us from New Jersey. Welcome, Sandy. All right, so let's just jump in then. First of all, let's address the whole fad thing. For those of you who might think, oh, well, these online courses are just a fad. They're not a fad. E-learning market, this is based on Straits research, and you can find a lot of other people who have complementary research to this as well. The e-learning market is set to reach $645 billion in market size by 2030. And so it's growing at about 13%. Now, here's the thing, is that if you want to compare what is $645 billion, because it's kind of hard for us to get our heads wrapped around, right now, the U.S. healthcare industry is $645 billion. So $645 billion, I want you to think of all the doctors, all the people in the med, nurses, technicians, hospitals, all of this other stuff, little offices, your little primary care, if you go to a little office or something like that, all of that totals up in the United States, 645 billion. So we are headed, this is e-learning, online learning is a juggernaut now. Now, it wasn't the juggernaut that it could have been when I started Life Coach Training Institute. Matter of fact, when I started Life Coach Training Institute, a lot of online learning was still fairly in its infancy. But here's what I will tell you is that no other coaching school out there or organization really believed that you could train coach. Can you believe that? It wasn't that long ago. They didn't even believe that you could train coaches online. So there were some people who kind of had their nose up in the air about online learning and everything else. And the reality is that, and I'll show you this in a minute, the way that the world has developed, the way that we've gotten better and better at teaching and training online and all of those other kinds of things, that's why it's become the juggernaut that it has. And quite frankly, if you're not doing things online these days, you might be becoming very irrelevant really quickly. See, a lot of things happen, particularly around 2020. And what we would say is that 2020 was kind of a line of demarcation, I could say. Not that online learning was not growing and not developing and not, upward trend and all of that other stuff. But 2020 did something to a lot of people. For one, it had people home, and that was the only way that they had access to the outside world. How? Because they had devices in front of them, trying to keep up with what was going on, and people were left home. And you know what happened? Our school grew by 30% as a result of that. Mostly was a result of the fact that we developed some new things, and we created an online boot camp that was a weekend boot camp. And then we had all of these students that were joining us while our competitors had their doors shuttered because they weren't offering anything like that. So the reality is that 2020 presented incredible opportunities, because here's what happened. Everybody started learning to use Zoom. You know what that happened for your business? If you've started your coaching practice, it means that people are open to being, and they might not have been before because they may not have actually used the platform. Now, super familiar with all these different platforms. They're comfortable with them. Probably most people that you know these days probably have the Zoom app downloaded somewhere, either on their PC or they have it on their phone. Listen, the dynamics in the game has completely changed. And now people are, not only are they open to it, but they are readily using online, using platforms, whether that be YouTube, learning what's happening. But just stop there, because it's not a fad. Obviously, you can see this upward trend. The reality is it is easier than ever to do it. My daughter here recently, and I had a weird message just pop up that says that we were having connection issues, but it looks like we're working. So let me know if we're having any kind of issues or whatever. My daughter, a couple of days ago, she was telling me, she's 19 years old, and she's an advanced pianist and everything else. Like she's going through all this training and all of this other stuff, and she was actually going to get a new certificate on Friday. So when we were driving up to where she takes piano, she was telling me how so many people in her generation are depressed, and they're like, they can't, because they believe that they can't make as much money, and that they don't have the advantages that my generation had and all of this other stuff. And I was like, well, that's an interesting thought. I said, do you think that? And she said, no, I don't believe that at all. It's interesting, because we talk about these things, and she knows she gets more of her dad now than she ever did. Why? Because of the virtual world, because of what we're able to build and think about all these things and everything else. Reality is that if you've got one of these things in your hand, you can be dangerous, and you pretty much can build an empire. And even if you don't want to build an empire, you can still build a business that is, because you've got the most powerful tool right now that's probably ever been known to man. I mean, there's been other kinds of tools. This is a very powerful tool that is in your hand that maybe you don't know how to utilize it, or maybe you just haven't given yourself to utilizing it. You can build anything. And that's one of the things that I told my daughter. I was like, I wish I would have had tools like this back in the day. As I can remember when I was her age, having to work for $4 an hour, and it was hard, grueling, nasty work that made me think I want to go get an education so that I can do more things maybe with my brain than what I'm doing. And now even a young person, if they understand and they respect and honor the power that they have within their hand, can begin to build these things, because it's truly easier than ever. How is it easier than ever? Well, here's why. Because 92% of Americans have computers. Now, I know that we're talking to people outside the United States, but that percentage has gotten ridiculously high across the board. It's even the playing field for people like me, for people like you, because we have access to the latest and greatest technology in many cases right here. Because if you guys have bought a phone in the last year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years, the reality is that you can do pretty much anything that anybody else is doing as a result of that. 92% of people have computers. And when I say computers, we're talking about either mobile devices or whatever we would consider a computing device, tablet, whatever. And they have them accessible, like readily accessible, where they are engaging with the devices that they're using. The people know how to use them. So it means that you've got most Americans, if you're in the United States, who are using them. Did you realize that 85% of Americans have a high-speed internet as well? I remember that was a dream. Some of you are old enough to remember when we first got online and you had dial-up and you waited forever for a page to load and everything else. Can you believe that things have progressed so much, and that the price of internet has actually come down as well, to the reality now that everybody is able to download things at a high rate of speed, are able to also watch videos without it buffering and dropping out and messing up. So that means for you, as you're putting these things together, that really about anything that you put together, even if it's a big file, they're going to be able to download it. They're going to be able to watch a high definition video that you've shot and put together on anything that you've placed on your website or whatever. Now, back in the day, that wasn't true. Sometimes it was like, well, what's the point of video if people can't watch it? Because they'll be using all their internet up for the month, or it'll take them forever. It's just a different world. The other thing that you'll find, and you guys find this in our courseware that we use for the school, all coursewares are browser based. You know what that means? It means that you don't have to use an app if you do not want to. Means that somebody can open up a browser, and as long as they're able to load a browser, they're able to load whatever is out there in terms of the courseware. But it's also easier than ever for you, because these days in 2023, the tools that you need to build anything that you want to build are simpler than they have ever been. What do I mean? Well, I mean, like, you can get a free Canva app, and you can do it on your phone or you can do it on your computer, and you can make any kind of graphics, and they start you with templates, and you just need to drag and drop and change some text, and voila, you have all the graphics that you need for anything. And I'm not getting any kind of affiliate link stuff from Canva. I'm just saying it's one of many softwares out there that are really easy to use, and even free ones. The reality is that there is tons of free video editing software out there. And you know what? If you have a phone, you know what this means as well? You no longer need a camera. You no longer need a microphone. Now, we have cameras in here, but it's not needed for what we're doing. Most of you have, if you have a smartphone, more of you have iPhones than you have Android devices or whatever. But the cameras and the sound and even the microphones on them, now granted, you need to go somewhere where it's not noisy or whatever, but they are good enough to be able to pull off anything that you need to pull off. You already have all the devices that you need to be able to pull this stuff off. But let's show you a couple of other things. Because when I say that that this is a viable thing and why would anybody want to do it for their business, I want to show you really quickly why this makes sense for your business. Because I know that many of you, most of you, are working full-time, working another job. And that's perfect, because I understand that all of us have a limited amount of time. So here's the thing, is that your online course will serve all kinds of serve you in a lot of different ways to be able to build your business and also make money while you sleep. Because we do have coaches who have online courses that they just wake up in the morning and they're like, oh, look, I made all this money last night while I was sleeping, because people are able to access it, and it's on demand. And it may never actually, doesn't always require you to be live and present with anything that's happening, because a lot of people are completely comfortable with self-service. You know, we offer live training and everything else, but I'd still say that even as a school, 99% of our students watch everything on demand and watch replays and reach out to us via email and through text and stuff like that. That's where the world has kind of shifted. So here's what I want you guys to understand in this. Most of you are thinking about, well, if I can become a coach, well, you know what this is going to be for me? It's going to be me finding one-on-one clients. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that you can't have one-on-one clients, but that's the way that most of you are thinking about your business. And that's going to be very hard for you to make a clean break from your full-time business, because you only have so many hours to do one-on-one clients while you are working full-time. Now, when you leave that job, you'll have plenty of time to be able to take on one-on-one clients. But many of you, you're not sitting around with like 20 hours a week that you want to work on top of a 40-hour work week. And you are right in thinking that. So what are the things that we put in place? Because I want you to think of a few things. One is I want you to have some things in place so that it can become a reality in maybe a year or 6 months or whatever, for you to leave that full-time job to be able to do this thing. I want to show you how you put this in, you make that a reality. Secondly, I don't want you sitting around struggling, trying to find one-on-one clients all the time and living in scarcity, because you don't have to. Third, you're always going to level off. You'll never be able to maximize your time or maximize the amount of people that you could help if you're only working with one-on-one clients. So I believe that one-on-one clients, and my Jumpstart coaches who are in there here know this, I believe that one-on-ones that you see down here, I would call these people that you see down here VIP people. And why am I writing in green? Because this should be the highest rated thing that you do. Like per hour, some of you are giving away one-on-one time for $25 an hour. And if you're thinking like that, I'm not saying that that's bad money. I'm just saying that you're going to level out really quickly, and you'll probably never be able to leave that full-time job, at least not without making a daring step, because, well, that's a lot of time to be giving up to an individual that's only like $25 or $50 an hour. And we've got to think differently about our time, and we need to value our time. I don't want you simply trading time for money. I want you to maximize your time, work fewer hours, make more money, help more people. And if you're interested in that, then I'll show you how online courses fits into that. When we look at this right here, what I think about when it comes to this funnel, and when I'm writing the funnel, I'm not writing the funnel in terms of a marketing funnel. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is that as you go down in this funnel, what increases as you go down is commitment. Because we'd have to agree that probably at the bottom of this funnel, there's going to be fewer people who are going to pay this kind of money for us. But on this level of commitment, we might have something that's actually free. Free webinar, free online something other, free download. What are we doing? And there's an exchange here. There's an exchange that is their information, like their email address or something like that. And what do we do is that we give them some kind of great content that helps them. And what does that do for us? Well, over time, at each one of these levels, every time there's a higher level of commitment, it means that I am serving someone better. But it also means that if I am serving them better, that means that I am nurturing my relationship with them. And you know what happens is that rapport is increased at each one of these levels. Now, some of you, if I send you an email, you're like, thanks, Paul. That was a helpful email. But that may not be enough where you would think, oh, I think Paul's got a great program that could actually help me build my business. Email's not going to be enough for that in most cases, unless it's like a mind-blowing email. And I don't know that I've ever written a mind-blowing email, but I've written some good ones, right? So that's what we do. You give me your email address, I give you content. and I serve you as best I can. But you know what? I can serve you better when you come on here live, so that when we're here on live, I can see that you guys are in the chat. You ask me questions. I can talk to you. I can give you my whiteboard. We're live and I can interact with things. What we would say in that is I'm serving you better because you have a higher level of commitment. You guys are on, low level of commitment is to open up an email every now and then, or maybe every week. Higher level of commitment is to get here during a live hour, because some of you who are on the East Coast time, I know it's 8:30 p.m. That's a high level of commitment for many of you. So what are we saying? When someone connects at this level, it's a higher level of commitment. I serve you better. And what does that do? It builds rapport. It makes someone say, well, I trust this person more because I can see that they're a real person. They're alive. They decide, well, I like this person. I don't like this person. But they can also say, I can see in this coach who's trying to help that they're genuinely trying to help me. I trust them. I like them. And I see a certain level of expertise that I believe that they could help me more. But you know what? To go from this to this, you guys would probably all agree that's kind of a big leap, isn't it? So what we need then is that we need some of those gaps filled if it's a big leap. Maybe not make it a 30-foot gap. Maybe if we make it more like a 3 to 5 foot gap, somebody will take that big leap that's going to be financially. So what do we want to do? Is that we want to increase the rapport, but I also want you to start making money now and to maximize your ability to help more people instead of it just being one-on-one clients. Listen, how many one-on-one clients could you take a week? 40? Could you do 40 a week? I don't know. But the reality is that all of us have time that is not really on our side. So how do we get some of those hours back and help more people? I believe it's like this. So we're looking at the picture here. And this right here is usually what I would say is that, let's say this is a group coaching program. And let's say that this is an online course. Online course. Now, what I would say about this is that an online course now some people will do free ones, but where I would say that the online course would probably fit about right here. So if this is kind of like level 1 right here is free, then this online course, depending on what you price it at, is probably going to be level 2. And you know what else? This group coaching program, and I'm just going to pick a purple color because I want to. Why did I do that? I'm going to pick a purple color right here. And I'm going to just say that this group coaching program would probably fit maybe right here then. And what's the expectation? Is that if this is 3, so free is free, so nothing, right? Level 2, what are we talking about? Well, that might be $1 sign. Level 3 might be $2 signs. And VIP is going to be the max thing that you charge. So how does all of this stuff work together? Well, here's the way that it works together. Somebody may not want to pay $300 an hour and work with you, or $200 an hour. That feels like a big gap. And that means I have to have major nurturing a relationship and rapport. And I need to have shown that I can help you so that this isn't a big gap anymore. I can demonstrate to them that I can help them. Well, group coaching and an online course can do that. How do we do that? Well, here's how we do it. In an online course, what I am going to do is I'm going to have an objective for that course. And the objective is going to be, well, that's really messy, but sorry. The objective is going to be to solve a problem that they want to solve. And I might do that in 5 sessions on video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, it might even be better, since this is kind of what I would say is a low risk, low cost course, is I'm going to give them 3 steps to getting a solution. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a price point that here's the problem. Let's say that the problem looks like this, that the price is going to be lower than the pain that they have for the problem. So here's the pain for the problems on this side, but the price to get it fixed is lower, so they'll easily part with that money. That price might be anywhere from $15 to $49, but you know what? There's nothing that keeps you from being able, because here's what I would say. You can do a lot of different online courses if you wanted to. You can do a lot of them. But let's just say that this is what I would say is an entry level. That means it's not going to be free, but what we're doing is that we're going to have an exchange. They're going to give me a little bit of money and I'm going to help them solve a problem, and they're going to feel good about it. And what that's going to do for me, it's going to make me feel good about it, because I'm going to be making money even while I'm not working with people. While you're working your 40-hour work week for somebody else's dream, you're making money over here starting out. Like, you can actually start with this before you actually start offering live anything to anyone. And in this, I'm not going to go live for a low price course. Doesn't mean that you can't offer a live Zoom or go on Facebook Live or put them in a Facebook group or whatever. You might do that. But probably for a low price course, I'm just going to give them a few live videos and maybe some tools, and we're done. But what we want here is that we want something that I would call is low risk. We want low risk kinds of things, so that when it comes to their wallet and that money coming out of their wallet, they're not really thinking about it. It's not a big deal. So low risk means that this could be, I'm just going to use the number $27 just because I like that number. Now, let's say that you have a goal for your business, and in your first year as a part-time coach, you want to make $20,000 while you're still working 40 hours a week. Here's how this can work. If in your online course, you get 10 people in it at $27 a pop, well, that's a no-brainer. That's $270 a month that you are immediately making. But let's say that somehow you are able to just add one person, and I'm going to show you this somehow in just a second, okay? That you just add one person a day. That's not, why? Because there's billions of people on the planet, and we know that in the United States alone, that 92% of people have internet access, and 85% of them have high-speed internet access and everything else. It's reasonable to say that I could get 15 to 30 people to sign up in a month for $27. If I double that number, what do I have? I have essentially, well, I'm going to round it down. I'm going to say I'm making $500 a month. Well, look what happens. Let's see how the math works. The math works like this. Your goal was only $20,000. $500 a month times 10 months is $5,000. Or we can say that over the course of two more months, that we're at what? $6,000 for a low price course. Is that about right? So if we have $500 a month times 12 months is 0,010, 005. And yes, $6,000 is what we're able to pull off. And you know what? You did this work one time and it lives out there for you to make money. I'm not having to think about it. I'm not having to give up my weekly work. I'm not having to work extra. I'm not over here harassing people for anything. And I'm not going to networking groups. And I'm not posting on social media all the time about it, though I might post every now and then about it or something like that, because it's a low price course and it's an entry level thing that once they decide, hey, I got enough value out of this, you know what I might try now? I might try group coaching, which is $47 a session. It's still not my max thing. You know how quickly that works? If you got one group going and you coach them once an hour, 1 hour a week at 10 people at $47 is $470 a week that you are making. 470 times 4 is 28, 16, 18. That's 1880 plus your 500 that we rounded off. Now let me show you what you got. 8, 13, 2380. You know what we did? We maxed out. You're already almost making $25,000 a year, and you're only working 1 hour a week. Do I have your attention about online courses yet? Because this really is, it's not rocket science. This is not, I don't want you getting trained and certified to struggle and to do what a lot of coaches are doing over there, which they have no clue of how to get clients. And they're all like stressed out and they won't put themselves out there. And they got all this fear of failure. This takes care of your fear of failure. Just start out with an entry-level online course that's $27 one time, and you get lifetime access to it. Was that hard? You don't have to debate. You know what? You don't have to take sales calls for $27. Nobody's going to call you. Would you tell me I'm really thinking about paying $27? Are you going to have conversations? No, you made it a no-brainer, but you give them great value that builds rapport with them. And now they see that you've demonstrated that you can help them, and they're going to be interested in these other things. So that what you end up getting are warm leads, warm referrals, so that by the time VIP person comes and they've encountered your help, it's a no-brainer if you decide to ever do one-on-one clients. And you may not do that. You know, you can leverage these two things. You could add a second group and you could be at $50,000 a year and only be working a couple of hours a week. Listen, what I'm telling you today is worth thousands of dollars. It's worth thousands of dollars. I know this. I've learned this along the way. I'm not just some, Joe Schmo trainer out there. I do know that there's a lot of trainers out there who have not been successful as a business person. You need to know that I've been successful both out there in a traditional way, but also online as well. So we're not just giving you stuff that is just simply, listen, if this was just cut in half of what I told you, and you did an extra $13,000 on top of your regular business, on top of your regular job, I think that would be pretty great if you were only working an extra hour out of the week to be able to do it, or 2 hours a week. I don't know that many people who are able to do it, even though they're out there schlepping essential oils and Scentsy candles, and no knock on those things. But the reality is that through the years, I've seen so many people like, oh, please don't contact me trying to schlep your stuff or whatever. I mean, that's what happens. That there's a lot of things that people are out there selling and making money off of that are not things that the average person even wants or needs in many cases. Again, I'm not knocking those products. Some of you have probably done those things or know someone. We have a huge essential oil kit in my house. My wife was a customer. I was not. But all this to say that we have something that we can serve the world with, but it all comes down to you knowing your ideal client and you helping them solve a problem that they actually want to solve. Now, I said, how does this thing come about? Easy. What I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks, we'll unpack a little bit more of this, but let me just say a couple of things about that. You don't even need to look for people, and here's the reason why. If you went out and you created a course on Udemy, so let's say that you went on there, and what is Udemy if you don't know, or Udemy? I don't know how people pronounce it these days, but if you wanted to, you can create a course, you can post it on there, and you know what they have? Well, they already have 49 million learners. And even during the pandemic, they grew by 100% during the pandemic. And they increased revenue by nearly 25% last year alone. Why? Because we got an upward trend, online learning and everything else. Now, this is going to continue happening. I think that right now that coaches have the ability to create and come up with ideas, because coaching and all of this stuff is still in its infancy. You know, a lot of coaches are focusing their business on trying to find one-on-one clients, and they're missing all of these opportunities. See, the cool thing about this platform is that you don't have to know anything. You don't have to do anything like extravagant or whatever. You post it on there, and you're going to find your ideal clients out of who's already on there. So you know what that's going to keep you from doing? Sitting around having to post about it, talk about it, and go crazy, and do TikTok dances and do Instagram dances and all of that other stuff. Like, you're not going to have to do that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to lower the bar that you can do this because you've got all the technology. Let me recap and let me hit the high points. Everybody has access to this platform, and they don't need an app for it. This is what I'm saying, first of all. Everybody has everyone has access to devices and high-speed internet to be able to access even a platform like this one. Second thing, you have all the technology that you need, because if you've got a cell phone, you have no excuses for not being able to do it. If you have a fear of failure and you don't have time to sit around making posts and do a lot of other kinds of things, then we go on a platform like this. We solve a problem that our ideal client wants to solve, and we put it on here, and we start grabbing from that learning user base that's already there, and we start finding our ideal client in the 49 million people who are already there. That's a great start. And you don't have to have no's, and you don't have to deal with rejection or any of those other things. And you know what else? You can create as many courses on there as you want, because we're just talking about one $27 course, but you can do as many as you want. I want you to get started and not give me excuses about why you can't. Don't overthink this thing. 3 videos. Don't go crazy. We're not trying to have the holy grail of knowledge or anything else. We just want some first steps of how we can help some people so that it opens the door to our business. That's what the goal is, and you can do this on here. Any of you can do this. Any of you can do this. You know how I know that? Because we've got a coach right now that's in his 70s who had never used Zoom or platforms, and really any of these platforms, or even enjoyed using computers for that matter, who's already a 6-figure coach. So he's stolen everybody's excuse, because you're not going to have a sad enough story or a big enough excuse, because I just watched somebody do it. And so we can all do this. I'm trying to nudge you. I'm trying to kick you in the pants. I'm trying to encourage you that this is the easiest thing that you could possibly do to get started. Anybody can do this. And again, there should be no fear of failure in this, because what's failure look like? Hey, if 5 people bought the course and you made over $100, I mean, seriously, that's going to be like your worst form of failure. Oh, only 5 people bought it, but I learned some things, and now I know how to do it better in the future, or whatever. But I'm just saying, I want you to get started, and this is easy. And if I would have had this opportunity when I started out as a coach, you better believe I would have taken it and made it happen back then. Instead of going to all the networking groups that I went to and dealt with all of the one-on-one complimentary sessions and all of the other stuff, I would have absolutely started this way, and I would have crushed it. I know I would have crushed it. It just didn't exist back then for me to be able to do it. For those of you who have not gotten trained and certified as a coach, there's a link inside the description. I'm going to show you another product that's actually included in the Jumpstart program. Jumpstart's $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. Everything that's included in the program is not only training and certification. Somebody says, where are we hosting it? You don't have to host this course. You can actually host it on Udemy if you want to use that platform or other ones that are out there. You don't have to have it your own website. You can just put it there. That's the simple. And I don't know how long ago you asked that question, but that's one of the ways that you can do it. But let me just fast forward, and what all does Jumpstart include? Well, obviously it includes our Life Coach certification course. We have Tuesday night training that's an optional part of the Life Coach certification course. All the 7 sessions is what is covered inside the Life Coach certification course that walks you through the core competencies of coaching. And each week when we go live, we include in a couple of those weeks live coaching demos. We had one last week. Paul ripped the Band-Aid off and he crushed it. We have live Q&As at the end of each one of these sessions as well, so that you can ask us questions and you can have as much connection with us as you like. Also, there is a live coaching boot camp so that you could actually do all 7 sessions over a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Again, it's the identical content, but what we're trying to give you the opportunity to do is to connect with us, also to connect with other coaches, because I see a higher level of success when coaches are connected with other coaches and when they have the support that they need. Brand Camp is our branding course that is inside of our Jumpstart program. So again, when you pay $97 a month, you get access to all of these things. We take you step by step by the hand to develop your marketing messaging. How do you develop your website, color schemes? How do you write a sales page? How do you write an email? How do you create funnels? All of that other stuff. We cover this in this course. But this is the big one that really applies to what we're talking about today. We bring you from zero idea formation to launch. We show you how to brainstorm any product idea. And also, we show you how to develop your website, how to create social media posts, how to announce it, how to do a 14-day product launch sequence. So it's perfect for someone who's wanting to do an online course, because what we do is that we give you all the tools so that you know exactly what you're doing and that you can actually get this thing launched. It's 8 sessions that we take you by the hand and walk you through all of the tools to be able to accomplish it. And we'll give you feedback on any of those things that you're working on, because that's the other beautiful thing about what we do in Jumpstart. Jumpstart includes the Life Coach Certification course. It includes boot camp. It includes brand camp. It includes the coaching product launch blueprint, but it also includes our weekly live call that we do on Wednesdays, where you can connect with other coaches. You can get feedback on anything that you're working on. You can ask me questions, but we go live every Tuesday because we want to make sure that you don't do this thing alone. You don't have to do it alone. We give you all the steps. It's an A to Z on how to develop your business from scratch, but it also includes certification. It's $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. There are no other coach training schools that are doing this. There are no business programs out there that are doing this. That is completely focused on helping you launch a coaching practice that is not basically costing you thousands of dollars and putting you in the hole. And we've taken every excuse away that you could possibly have. So you should probably click that link inside the description and get enrolled. It'll take you about 90 seconds to get enrolled. And you can join us for live Tuesday night training even tomorrow. So cool. Hey, what questions do you guys have for me today? Anybody have any questions before we head out? And again, that link is inside the video. I can probably, let's see if I can get this to work. Ooh, it put it up there in the corner, that QR code. Let me see if I can look at it. The QR code, there it is. Wait, I think there's a better one though. I thought there was a better one. QR code and image. Is that the one that I wanted? No, we wanted to do the live one, I thought, but it disappeared. All right, so that's how you do it, is that you just hit that QR code and you can get enrolled, or you can click the link inside the description of this video and you can get enrolled. Is group coaching like what you are doing now? No, I don't think that group coaching is what I am doing now. I'm doing a little bit of a teaching, training, and encouragement. Group coaching, if I was able to describe what group coaching is, most of you have seen one-on-one coaching, or at least you're learning to. What we're doing in group is that we are applying all the principles of coaching, but to a group. And so sometimes in a group format, you have a really short introduction, but in a group, you've already decided ahead of time, what is the goal for this group? And what's the destination? So what outcome do we want for everybody who's in the group? What brings the group together is that they all have a common problem. Let's say it's procrastination. And they're like, hey, I want to have victory over procrastination and become more productive in my life. So problems, procrastination, the solution is productivity, right? So let's say that we have 4 sessions and that you're going to walk away more productive. You're going to increase your productivity by 25% or something like that, however you want to do it. In the group, I might say, here are the 4 problems that we're going to confront in procrastination, and then you're going to be procrastination free, hopefully, in 4 weeks. What do? Give them a little bit of that intro about it. I already prepare the questions ahead of time, and they can be facilitated by the group, or I can facilitate them. There's a lot of different ways that we can actually offer this. It could be in a course. It could be in a Facebook group. There's a lot of different things. But the group, it's facilitated through the group. I don't have to coach anybody. And there's tools that I might utilize in that. But what are we trying to do? Is that we are trying to allow the group to essentially coach themselves, utilizing the questions, but there's also a form of accountability that's formed in that as well. So is there only one way of doing group coaching? There's not, but group coaching is not just simply inspiration or whatever. We've got a goal that we are headed for, that we can determine that we can accomplish in like 4 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever. I wouldn't make it a whole lot longer than that. And then the group works together but you've already prepared everything and have guided the process. You're just not having to coach people individually, and you're not having to do much in the way of coaching because you've already done all of the work. You've done the legwork ahead of time, and you're allowing the group to kind of come around that to be able to do it. And so, Paul, inside of Jumpstart, I think I've got one area inside there that specifically talks in great detail about group coaching, but it's a great way to do it. So again, there is the QR code. Let me see one more thing. There it is. Enroll now. The link is inside of the description as well inside of that QR code. So if you would like to join us even tomorrow night to get your training and certification out of the way, or if you've already gotten trained and certified, we have a lot of coaches that come from other programs and they got trained and certified, and now they are in a funk because they don't know how to get their business up and going. We will show you. We'll take you by the hand. You don't have to do this alone. The coaches who are in our program are brilliant people who support one another, and we work together to not only help you do your best, but to just have success, And so, again, that link is inside the description. It'll take you 90 seconds to enroll, and you can join us. Well, all right, everyone. Well, let me look inside the chat widget. Is there anything else? Awesome. Well, great, everyone. Well, listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. Have a great rest of your week and take care.